On your left.
Don't say it. Don't you say
On
it.
your left.
Steve Rogers' workout routine.
Should take another lap. Did you just take it? I assume you just took it.
With a lot of characters to build in this movie, introducing Sam by having him banter with Steve warms us up to the idea of Captain getting a sidekick. Everything on this list is a win, but seriously, the fact that Cap got different lists for different countries' audiences is a serious win, even if I was hoping for a little more meta humor. No Nolan Batman trilogy? Or Fantastic Four? Or The Hurt Locker? That's two birds, one stone with Hawkeye and Falcon in it. Although the South Korean version did have Oldboy, and the American version of that had Scarlet Witch and Thanos. So that's pretty close. Also Mace Windu. Still, only one win though, since Rocky 2 had a question mark and there's no Rocky 4.
Can't run everywhere.
No, you can't.
Get it? Because he's been known to fly. Latitude and longitude coordinates are a little Project Insight foreshadowing if you ask me.
Jasper Sitwell.
Finally, Sitwell is embracing his alopecia. How did Luthor get KG Beast to turn from Hydra? I mean S.H.I.E.L.D. Wait, what universe am I in? Cap earned his one-man army moment and he kills it. And probably that guy. He's also learned some martial arts. I appreciated his 1940s-style boxer fisticuffs in the first Avenger, but he's updated with the times. Also, maybe a little pro wrestling. Black Widow is still finding new and inventive ways to kick people's butts, even when they definitely outweigh her. This guy's Batroc. He's an Olympic-level weightlifter, highly trained in savate, and in peak physical fitness in every way. He can hold his own with Cap, mostly because he catches Cap off guard and has really fast reflexes for a human. Then, he basically challenged Cap to a fight based on skill, so Cap obliges him. And subsequently knocks him unconscious after a showcase of superb fighting from both of them.
For once, we're way ahead of the curve.
Irony.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
It's getting damn near past time for you to get with that program, Cap.
Don't hold your breath.
Never compromise, even in the face of Armageddon. While Cap has it a little easier in the MCU than Rorschach does in his universe, it's one of his best characteristics and reminds us how consistent he is.
Captain America and his Howling Commandos.
Is that Gary Sinise? Is Lieutenant Dan narrating at the Smithsonian?
You're alive. You came back.
Yeah, baby. Well, I couldn't leave my best girl. Now when she owes me a dance.
Well, that'll rip your guts out. But in a good way.
How the hell did a French pirate...
For the record, Councilman, he's Algerian.
Caleb Nickel is obviously a comic fan, knowing that Batroc the Leaper is actually French. If you had told me that Jeremiah Johnson and Mr. Glass could square off and deliver compelling spy drama, I may have laughed in your face. Although, had you said Condor and Valentine... That's really his name? That movie is so good. We really should do Kingsman. What was I saying? Right. Redford and Jackson are just two heavyweight actors killing it in this MCU film. This is one of those scenes I'd almost expect to see on the cutting room floor, but it's such great character development for Falcon and starts to form the relationship these two have. It's what makes this one of the best MCU dramas. Anyone who doesn't like when I talk about the music, please plug your ears. This score is sensational. We get little touches here and there of the eerie electronic noise in the background, but it's this scene where it makes you start to grind your teeth a little. The best praise that I can give it is that it puts me on edge the way that Zimmer and Howard's Dark Knight score for the Joker did. Fury the Stoic. Center console machine gun is a win. Center console grenade launcher is also a win. This movie isn't lacking for amazing set pieces, but this one is one of the best. So many moving parts and cool little gadgets / in-universe tech that's glossed over, yet still has solid point of focus and a real nail-biting chase sequence. Badass bad guy. And Henry Jackman's score really ties this spy thriller together. I'm not sure if it's because The Winter Soldier reminds me of Alessandro Cortini, but I really feel like Jackman channeled Trent Reznor for this one.
If you want, you're welcome to use my machine.
Trying to help your neighbor? Even this simple chase is gripping and a fun reminder of how powerful Cap is. Wait, sorry. Now is when I meant to say badass bad guy. The Winter Soldier is the man. Right up there with the best villains from the past few years.
Why was Fury in your apartment?
I don't know.
Captain Rogers is a bad liar. And that's a win.
Nick had ignored my direct order and carried out an unauthorized military operation to save the lives of a dozen political officers.
Even the evil politician villain has a backstory that makes sense and motivations that we can empathize with. Everyone is just doing their best to create a free world. They really foreshadow the crap out of what's about to happen. First Peggy.
And sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
And now Pierce.
Sometimes means having to tear the old one down.
Look who it is. The Running Man.
That's 2 Arnold movie references. Now the sweat bead from Total Recall? And Cap's little clue noticing Sherlock scene is so fun. He's suspicious, more things are seeming less coincidental, and then once he sees KG Beast and this big dude, his theory is confirmed. And he tells the whole story with just his facial expressions. And his expression once he's resolved to winning the fight is mint.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Politeness. One more terrific showcase of Cap's power and fighting code. Captain America 1, Quinjet 0. The superhero landing. Expositional gum chewing.
The person who developed this is slightly smarter than me. Slightly.
Honesty.
Two coming straight at us. If they make us, I'll engage. You hit the south escalator of the metro.
Shut up and put your arm around me. Laugh at something I said.
Cap and Black Widow are such a great pairing. Cap is a tunnel vision soldier who punches or leaderships his way out of most conflicts. Black Widow is a super spy and prefers sneaking to all-out brawling. It's great to see that Cap can still learn a thing or two.
Where did Captain America learn how to steal a car?
We're borrowing. Take your feet off the dash.
Ethical, even in the face of Armageddon.
I-E-S spells yes.
Spelling lessons.
Shall we play a game?
That's a little more meta than you might think. Since Scarlett Johansson was in Her with Joaquin Phoenix, who was in Walk the Line with Reese Witherspoon, who was in Election with Matthew Broderick, the star of War Games. I can't tell you how long I tried to find some connection. I'm sure someone can do it faster in the comments. I'll even add an annotation if it's good enough. Either way, War Games reference. As much as we would have all loved to see Arnim Zola as a robot with Toby Jones's face on the chest, this was the right move. And the camera head with the monitor below is still reminiscent of his comic form.
Accidents will happen.
Future conflict shadowing.
I am afraid I have been stalling, Captain.
Monologuing with a purpose. The purpose. Saving your friend. Chris Evans' workout routine.
23, real hot, wants to be a reporter, I think. I don't know, who listens at that point?
In case you didn't hate Hydra enough, here's a senator being really gross. The Falcon.
Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange.
Doctor Stephen Strange. Who still won't be doing any magic no matter how much you guys want it. Just about the coolest way to save your friends yet. Brutal. Grappling hook save. More awesome Spidey sense from Black Widow's espionage arsenal. Get it? Because Black Widow's a spider. Natasha knows she's outmatched by the Winter Soldier, so this typical comic book street shootout is totally turned on its head with this cat and mouse game. Nothing against the mayhem of all-out warfare, but this is a fun change of pace adding to the spy thriller side of this film. Shield punch! So good! Finally seeing these two go toe-to-toe, surpassing the speed of any other fight, proving that the Winter Soldier is one of the few men that can actually compete with Cap.
Bucky?
Who the hell is Bucky?
It's a moment most of us knew was coming, and both Sebastian Stan and Chris Evans still managed to make it emotional and memorable. Using the Winter Soldier theme as an auditory cue as to what's going through Cap's head.
I'm gonna bleed out here in the truck.
Who's this guy?
This time it's Robin Daggers to the rescue. Nick Fury's alive.
Get to the toxin B. Slows the pulse to 1 beat a minute.
Could have just said Project Tahiti. Only Redford could pull that off so believably.
Society is at a tipping point between order and chaos. Tomorrow morning, we're going to give it a push.
Notice he didn't specify which direction. Such a subtle way of showing how disillusioned Hydra is about freedom. And then Fury says,
This man declined the Nobel Peace Prize. Peace wasn't an achievement, it was a responsibility.
further evidence of Pierce's motivations, nailing home Cap's issue with both organizations.
Shield, Hydra, it all goes.
They're two sides of the same coin and are both corrupt.
I don't think he's the kind you save. He's the kind you stop. He doesn't know you.
He will.
More of what makes Cap Cap and why we love him. He has a code and he sticks to it.
Oh, man. I am so fired.
I doubt it. Plus, aren't you worth hundreds of millions of dollars anyway? Yeah, vintage Cap.
Negative DT6, the pattern is full.
Looks like Abed gave up on his film career.
I'm not going to launch those ships.
Sitting down for what you believe in.
Not if it was your switch.
Pierce's face. Such a perfect response. All right, Falcon. You won me over with that one. So brutal. Badass good girl. Hydra sending Bucky out maskless is a nice touch to mess with Cap's head as much as Cap using his original suit to try and jog Bucky's mind. Bucky's been trained in a little gun kata. Avengers Tower.
Fire now.
But Steve...
Do it! Do it now!
Since they aren't unmanned helicarriers, every second they delay risks a Hydra goon coming down and replacing the blade again. So that's some worthy self-sacrifice. The entire final showdown between our two title characters is just about perfect. Two absolute powerhouses kicking the snot out of each other while deeply emotionally compromised and confused.
I'm not gonna fight you. You're my friend.
You're my mission.
Then finish it. Because I'm with you to the end of the line.
You've got to have a heart made of stone to not feel something for these two. Bucky fighting his hardest to overcome his reprogramming while Cap is ready to give his life to bring Bucky back from the dark side. Moving stuff. A great final illustration of this film's message. The red, white, and blue literally blood-soaked and dragged through the mud being worn by the one man willing to do the right thing for his loved ones and country, not for personal or political gain.
On your left.
Callback. Comeuppance. Crossbone shadowing. Even the closing credits have subtext with Hydra growing underneath S.H.I.E.L.D. while still being its mirror. What an outside-the-box MCU movie. Sure, it's still filled with plenty of awesome action and some of the best fighting from Cap, but the detective spy thriller story was so intriguing. Not what we usually get from the MCU. A movie that finally allowed Black Widow's espionage to shine. And Natasha and Cap working together and really learning about each other totally pays off in the future.
I'm here to pick up a fossil.
It's hilarious.
The banter over Roger's dating life back and forth is entertaining and solidifies the competency of both of them since the mission, whatever it is at any given time, can basically be accomplished with their eyes closed.
Lillian. Lip piercing, right?
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah. I'm not ready for that.
And letting a man and woman build a non-romantic relationship? Is Hollywood growing up? Either way, it's one of the best things this film does, building and shaping new relationships and new characters. I totally buy Sam and Steve's friendship that started because of some shared similar war experiences. Sam quickly learns what kind of man the captain is and wholeheartedly decides to follow him wherever he goes. And they introduced the Falcon about as realistically as you could ask for. For a movie subtitled The Winter Soldier, I know quite a few of you felt like you didn't get enough of him. But this was that villain's movie. By the end, he's already trying to uncover his past and become Bucky again. And his minimal usage amped up his appearances. Also, just because he wasn't on screen doesn't mean the movie wasn't about him. Hydra has been shaping the world with him for 70 years behind the scenes. And as far as villains go, the Winter Soldier is one of the best depictions ever. Sebastian Stan really nailed the brainwashed, heartless assassin who becomes conflicted. And if I dare say, I believe Bucky's origin in the MCU actually surpasses the comic version. Rogers and Barnes being lifelong friends instead of meeting later on in life gives much more weight to the moment Cap realizes the Winter Soldier's true identity. As I've already said throughout, the entire cast was phenomenal for the second outing. However, I have to give the Most Improved trophy to Kobe Smulders. Not that she was ever lacking, but I think she proved that giving her more to do is not a mistake. Even though Hill is a pretty type A, uptight character, she seems to feel more comfortable and loose this time around.
That thing was squeezing my brain.
This is one of the best, if not the best, standalone MCU films. Iron Man will always be special as the first time we all said, whoa, that was actually a good movie, not just a decent comic book adaptation. Nothing against Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy or any other competent superhero films, I'm just talking about the MCU here. But it did an excellent job of setting up the next few MCU movies while telling a compelling and complete narrative itself. Point is, The Winter Soldier has a level of maturity, granted borrowed from some 70s spy flicks, but the way they integrate it with the action and fighting is all really well done. We already know there were no real missteps in Civil War. I'm pretty excited that the Russo brothers are directing Infinity War. What's that now? They directed You, Me, and Dupree? Oh well, they can't all be home runs, right? As long as Owen Wilson doesn't become the next Hulk once Ruffalo gets bored. Maybe he can be She-Hulk. He could probably pull that off.
Man, shut the hell up.
They almost have what they want. Absolute control.
There's nothing more horrifying than America.